And we're live.
Hi, everybody. This is Joe and Jamie calling you from Massachusetts on live on Pirate Radio. We want to really just take a moment of your time to talk a little bit about the dark web and what's really going on in with the situation with Experian. If you can just remind us, Jamie, what happened with Experian?
So, as you pointed out in our last video, Experian went and was hacked for quite some time before they revealed it, and over 100 million Americans had their address, social security number, name, and other details left out or taken and put out on the web somewhere. So in our last video, you talked about how people can protect their privacy by basically putting a lock on their credit reports, and we'll link to that in the description of the video so people can find that.
Yeah, so Experian gets hacked, and so there's been a lot of advertisement out there lately about how it's going to scan the dark web. And we really just want to take a moment to tell you guys how ridiculous that actually is. So if you could really just break down what the dark web is, Jamie.
So when people think of the dark web, there's certainly criminal activity that exists on it, but then there's criminal activity that exists on the web. Basically, it's a set of tools like Tor, I2P, Freenet that allow people to go on the web in a way that secures their privacy. So their ISP isn't logging where they're going to, the NSA isn't logging where they're going to, and people can browse the web, go to websites, and access websites and be able to kind of live their life on the web without fearing for surveillance. So, when we think about who uses that, it can be anyone. I mean, journalists use it, obviously, if they want to go and research a source. They want to go to a website and they don't want that website to know, oh, someone came from the Boston Globe or the Boston Herald, and maybe wonder, well, why are those people coming from that site? So they can go on to Tor and then access that website and to do research, to communicate with other people in a way that other people aren't going to be able to see that. But it could be, we see where children go online and they're using the web and those companies for games or things like that. And those companies are just pulling down all this information about kids. Things like Tor and I2P allow children to protect their privacy when they're on those websites. But really, it can be anyone who wants to protect their privacy.
And definitely protect your information from really getting out there. So it sounds very similar to like a VPN service. What would really be the difference between a VPN service versus like a dark web tool?
Sure. So a VPN is a really useful tool if you're, say, using a public Wi-Fi, say at a cafe or some other public place where you don't necessarily trust that someone who's on that there isn't someone on the network who could be potentially listening in. You can use what's called a VPN, or a virtual private network, where you basically are paying $5 a month. It's usually not a lot, maybe $10 a month, depending upon the service, to connect, to make an encrypted connection so that the only one who knows what data you're sending is you and the VPN. And basically it allows you to make this encrypted tunnel between your computer and them, such that when your traffic goes out, it goes out onto the internet from, say, Sweden or another part of the United States or another country somewhere. And in that way, anyone who's on that local Wi-Fi won't be able to know who you're talking with, what you're saying, and anything like that. Now, the difference between that and Tor is Tor takes that to another level. There are throughout the world many thousands of what are called Tor nodes, and especially Tor exit points. And what happens is when you use Tor, you go and create a connection for each browser tab that you have. When you go to a website in the Tor browser, which is just a version of Firefox, and you make a connection between you and multiple Tor relay nodes, and then eventually, if you're going to a website that's not within the Tor network, will come out somewhere on an exit node and exit onto the wider internet. So you could be in the United States and you could be coming out in France or Sweden or Canada or Mexico or wherever, which is interesting because when you go on, suddenly if you go to Google, for example, they're very much into, if you're in Germany, well, they're going to show you the German Google. And so in that way, it thinks you're coming from Google and it's some random IP on the internet, and it's not your IP. So not only does it protect you from ISPs spying on you, but it also goes and protects you from anyone in between. It's not perfect, but it works. A, it's free, and B, it works really well. When Snowden leaked his the information on the NSA, there was a lot of the Tor folks had not been able to crack it. And to the best of our knowledge, the NSA still hasn't been able to crack it.
That sounds amazing. So, I mean, it's really just a level of protection. Real quick, I just wanted to go into what the pitfalls were and of the dark web, and then go into the call of action.
Sure. I mean, the pitfalls of what's called the dark web, and I don't like to use that term because there's a lot of criminal activity that exists throughout the web, whether it's some secret website, perhaps that's only accessed via a Tor hidden service, and that's just, instead of going onto the wider internet, when you come out of Tor, you're coming right into a Tor relay that's part of a particular network. So for example, if you want to get to Facebook, you can go to their Tor hidden service, such that your connection between them and you never goes out on the internet. It always goes to the Tor network. But there's a lot of sites, legitimate sites. There's newspapers that have them. Information websites have them. So it can be that more nefarious or criminal activities use it, but there's still lots of criminal activities that go on in Facebook and other places as well. Things that are just transacted in, in not quite plain sight, but still accessible if you want to look at it. So criminals will be there. They'll use whatever tools, but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't be protecting our own privacy by using tools like Tor, I2P, Freenet, and things like that, VPNs and stuff like that.
Yeah, and so as far as the pitfalls go, having all these... Sorry, I'm getting a little bit of feedback.
No worries.
So the pitfalls of the dark web would be really the slowness, in my experience. Would you say that's a common thing?
Absolutely. So, thinking about it this way, right? The Tor traffic goes out onto, it's encrypted, and it only goes between Tor relays, but it's like building a special tunnel that goes between you and the Tor exit node or the hidden service. That extra degree of encryption, the having to route it through the Tor network, which is not necessarily the most efficient way of doing it, means that it's going to be slower. You can't, for example, use BitTorrent. They don't want you to use BitTorrent over Tor because partially because BitTorrent creates lots of little connections to get different parts of a file. It's not streaming necessarily from one place, and that can be taxing. But and you're absolutely right. It is slower, but that's the sacrifice that you have to improve your privacy. But it's not dramatically slower. You can still go to a large number of websites or watch YouTube videos or any number of other services that are out there.
All right, perfect. Thank you for that, Jamie. That was a really good explanation. So, really, just a call to action. If you want to learn more about protecting yourself, we do host monthly crypto parties down in Somerville. I believe there's one coming up just in a couple days,
The
actually.
Somerville Cryptoparty, people can go to a website and look for the link to the mailing list. I'll make sure that's up on the website that, when it's happening, but it's the last Wednesday of every month, which will be this Wednesday, 6 to 9 p.m. at a place called The Sprouts at 339 R for rear, Summer Street in Somerville. It's a two-story garage in the back of a building, but we're usually always in the first floor. And, if you have questions about how to protect your privacy, how to choose secure passwords, how to manage your passwords, which is always a good first line of defense, how to set up two-factor authentication or use Tor, encrypt your email, use Signal and other audio, video, and text chat tools that are secure. You can come down, and we're always willing to answer your questions and help out. We sometimes have topics on a variety of things. So, we encourage folks to come by. Additionally, at the Museum of Science on May 9th, they're going to have a crypto party. If you Google or go onto DuckDuckGo or other sites like that, DuckDuckGo is a good alternative to Google. You search for Museum of Science Crypto Party, and there'll be details there. Tickets aren't yet available, but that's free. And we'll be covering we'll be helping and covering a wide variety of different topics where you can get good hands-on knowledge about setting up different software and using different techniques to protect your privacy.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And I hope you have a very beautiful evening. And
I hope you do as well. And I hope everyone who listens to this video finds it helpful. Give us a comment, leave a comment for us if there's anything you feel we should touch on.
And definitely like and share.
Absolutely. And yeah, like and share. You can also find us at masspirates.org or on Twitter and Facebook at masspirates.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks so much. Take care, everyone. Take care, Joe.